We'll start off with the intramural and extramural's meaning. So within the wall is called as intramural. Intramural helps a student to build development. Your physical, mental and social development gets improved when you practice intramural activity. When you're representing your school or college or university at a different level, there you get an opportunity to show what different skills and techniques that you can perform or do. Hello everybody, my name is Rohit. I take physical education on behalf of Prep School by Vidhyaashram. In today's class, we will cover the second session of planning in sports. So what all things we'll be covering today? Let's have a quick look at it. First, we'll start off with the intramural and extramural's meaning and its objectives and significance. Then we'll carry forward with specific sports program in which we'll study about sports day, then we'll study about health run, then we'll look into run for specific cause, and finally we will study about run for unity. So let's start off with the intramural first. What exactly is intramural? Intramural is what? It is exactly what it is in intramural. Intramural is an activity which is conducted inside a wall. Okay, let's see from where it is derived. Let's see from where the word is derived. The word is derived from Latin word intra and muralis. Intra means what? Intra means what? Within. Within. And muralis means wall. So within the wall is called as intramural. So all the activities that you do within a wall is called as intramural activity. For this instance, when you talk about physical education, we are talking about sports. So what all sports you again practice or take activities, what all sports or athletic event you do within your school or college or university, it is called as intramural activities. Again, what is that? Activities performed within the walls or within the campus or institutions are called as intramural activities. I will repeat once again, what is intramural? Intramural activities are those activities which are again practiced inside the wall of a campus or an institution. Derivation of that word I again gave from where it was derived. It was derived from which language? It was derived from Latin language. What was it again? What was the two words? Intra and muralis. Intra means within and muralis means walls. So intramuralis is within the walls. So within the premises of your campus, what all activities you do, that's called as intramural activities. With that, let's move on to now some of the objectives of intramural activities. Why in school intramural activities are again conducted or organized or implemented as a part of education. First, it is again implemented. The first objective is to provide opportunity to every student to participate in games and sports. Now, when you talk about extramural, intramural is obviously, if you use a little bit of common sense, extramural is the opposite of intramural. We'll get into extramural, but try to understand this. Intramural helps a student to build its confidence and its again personality and skill, and makes that person ready for extramural activities. So basically, what is the first objective of an intramural activity? It is to provide opportunity to every student to participate in games and sports. Next, to develop leadership qualities among students. So to develop leadership qualities, communication skills, social skills and teamwork among the students. Again, that's one of the objective for intramural activities. After that, what is the third objective of intramural activities? To develop a concentration. So when you're in sports, you have targets, you have goals, you have scores to be scored. So your concentration will be at high. So basically your concentration skill will again increase. So that way it will also help you to study better because you are again playing sports. Like I always said, physical education and physical activity improves the concentration of mind and the processing of your again brain. Moving on to next, again it provides recreation. So recreation takes place when you again take part in different kind of intramural activities in the school. Then what is the next again objective? To develop feelings of sportsmanship. The feeling of sportsmanship gets inside when you again participate in intramural activities, when you participate in different events, different sports, different games in your school. That sportsmanship spirit, that love towards your sports. So everybody has a favorite sport. Some may have basketball, some may have football. So that love and that respect towards that sports, the sportsmanship, that spirit increases and develops in you when you practice that game. So that is one another objective of intramural activities. Next, it provides an opportunity to learn a variety of games and skills. You may already know to play cricket, or you may already know to play basketball, but when you play with others, when you play in a school, you have multiple variety of sports. You learn from each other and you may develop a skill in another sport which you did not know earlier. Okay, so it gives you an opportunity to study about and to learn and to practice different skills of different sports when you again practice intramural activities. Moving on to next, it provides an opportunity to get an experience of organizing competitions. Now we have sports day, we have CCA days, co-curricular activities day, we have inter-house competitions and many other competitions in school. So basically, when those kind of events takes place, students are given again certain kind of responsibilities, certain kind of management responsibilities. So that way, even management skills in you also get developed when you practice again intramural activities. So these are some of the again objectives of intramural. Moving on to next objective, to identify talented sportsmen. So when you practice intramural activities, certain sportsmen, certain children or certain students get into highlight and they are picked up for multiple levels. Like you have cluster level, you have state level, you have regional level, you have national level. Different teams they get selected, and from there they gets picked up, and many of them make a career out of sports again. So that kind of opportunity also is given or is provided to you when you take part in sports or practice intramural activities. Moving on to next, we have next, that is to provide an opportunity to develop personality. Your personality as a sportsman also increases and develops when you practice intramural activities. So these are some of the objectives that are again behind implementation of intramural activities in school. Now, since you understood, hope you understood intramural activities, let's move on to our next topic, that is the again significance of intramural activities. So what all are the significance of intramural activities? First, physical, mental and emotional and social development. Your physical, mental and social development gets improved when you practice intramural activity. Your moral and ethical values, your team spirit, right? The team spirit, the motivation, the competition spirit, the confidence, everything everything increases when you practice intramural activities. After that, you have development of health of a children. Like I said, mental health, physical health, everything is equally important. But when you practice any kind of intramural activities that is inside your school, if you take part in any kind of activities, physical activities or sports activity or athletics, you again develop your mental skills, you again sharpen your aptitude, you again sharpen your concentration, your memory power increases, your sharpness increases, and there are a lot of more benefits out of it. Next, at the fourth, you have it helps toning and fighting instincts in children. Basically, your basic instincts, your reflexes, your neuromuscular coordination and your reflexes gets improved when you practice intramural activities. Now, moving on to next, it improves your on-field skills. Like I told in the objectives, it helps you to develop skills on various sports. So, on-field skills means when you're on the ground, when you're practicing that particular kind of sports, not the theory part, but the practical part. When you're practicing that particular part, the on-ground practice of the sports, your skill gets more nourished and polished when you practice these kind of sports. Moving on to next, it provides maximum recreation. This also we studied in the objectives. It creates and it gives you the opportunity for maximum recreation, and thus it helps you to develop your social skills also. After that, it develops leadership quality in you. Again, the leadership quality, the team leader, right? Certain responsibilities are given to you by the coach. So thus, it helps also to develop the leadership quality in you as a person. And this leadership quality that you developed by practicing intramural activity and sports activity gets carried on and gets reflected in other fields also. And later when you grow up, later when you get into your careers, and later when you get into your jobs, that quality that you developed during the school while practicing sports by developing leadership reflects at that period of time, and it proves to be very helpful. Now, moving on to next topic, that is our extramural activities. You may have already guessed what is extramural activities by understanding the meaning of intramural activities. Let's move on to extramural activities now. What is extramural activities? Again, the name is derived from Latin. There is two words, extra again and muralis. Extra means again outside. Now when you talk about extra, we are not talking about English word extra, we are talking about Latin word extra. So in English, extra means more, right? More than the usual amount. So here in Latin, extra means what? Extra means again outside, and muralis, you already studied in intramural derivation. What is muralis? Muralis means wall. So basically, what is it? Outside the wall, or outside the wall is called as again extramural activity. So whatever activities you do outside the wall is called as extramural activities. Again, what is it? Activities performed outside walls or outside the campus or institutions are called as extramural activities. Generally, when you call as extramural activities, in general sense, it is any kind of activities that you do outside any kind of institution. But in this instance and this context, when you're talking about physical education and sports, we are talking about sports activities that is being practiced outside your school campus. That is, when you have club competitions, when you have sports club competitions, when you have inter-college competitions, when you have inter-zonal or inter-regional competition or interstate competitions, all those competitions will be categorized under extramural activities. Now, hoping you understood the derivation, the meaning of extramural activities, let's move on to some of the objectives of extramural activity. Okay, now what are the different objectives of extramural activities? What are some objectives? You may have guessed few on of your own, but let's see what all of them are there here. To first, it's to improve the standard of sports. Like I said, when you practice intramural activities or intramural sports, your team skill, right? Your skill as a sportsman increases and nourishes in the school, and that time when you're practicing intramural sports, it is developing your skill to prepare you for the extramural activity. So a person or a sports or a kid who is interested in sports in the school is nourished and polished. His skills on the field are again nourished and polished by the coach, by the help of the coach, so that he can represent the school, the college at a zonal level and make everybody proud about it, right? So when all the skills that you practice during your intramural activities, intramural activities inside your school campus reflects back again in the extramural regions. That is, when we're talking about extramural regions is what? Outside the school. We're talking about inter-college competitions, inter-school competitions, inter-regional and international competitions. All those places, the standard of sports is increased, right? So at that level, you can improve. At that level, you can practice. Next, it provides an enriching experience to students. Now, whatever experience of sports you get from the school is totally different from what experience you get from outside. Both of them have their advantages and disadvantages. But then again, in the intramural activities, everybody gets to shine. In the intramural activities, when you practice intramural sports, everybody gets an opportunity there. But only the person who outperforms everybody, only the person who is very much competitive and outperforms every skills gets selected for extramural activities. And there the experience is extraordinary and very much enriching. Moving on to next, to develop sportsmanship and feeling of again fraternity. So the development of a sportsmanship spirit increases again in you. It's the same like in intramural sports. That is the starting of it. This is again the next level, next standard of it. You feel very proud that you're representing your league, your college, your zone at a different level. So it makes you feel proud. Moving on to next, it broadens the base of the sports. your base of the sports also it broadens and makes it again at a scale, the scale is more bigger, the audience is now more bigger, you are known to multiple peoples, not just your school. Now you are famous in multiple zones because you are playing for the zone and at the national level. So that again plays a major part and also is an objective for extramural sports. So to provide an exposure to a student, to exposure to again a candidate who has been performing very well in the intramural activities, extramural activity makes and proves to be a very good option to provide an exposure. Moving on to next, it provides knowledge of new rules and advanced techniques. There are certain limitations to what you could learn in school when it comes to sports and things because of lack of equipments and a lot of other reasons. But when you go to a particularly dedicated sports academy or when you go to a particular place where sports is the only focus, their equipments are n in numbers, and the techniques that you could learn from the professionals who have played at multiple levels, the coaches of years of who's having years of experience, that again numerous. So again that helps you a lot when you practice or when you take part in any kind of extramural activities. So these were some of the objectives of extramural activities. Now let's move on to some of the significance of extramural activities. What are some of the significance of extramural activities? First, it provides an opportunity to students to show their sports capabilities. Now, when you are practicing intramural sports, you don't have to show much of it because everybody knows you, everybody knows what you're capable of. But when you go to extramural, when you practice extramural sports, when you're representing your school or college or university at a different level, there you get an opportunity to show what different skills and techniques that you can perform or do. Next, it enhances the standard of sports and performance. Like I said, extramural is at totally a different level. Intramural at a school level, extramural is outside the school. Basically, all the other sports that you perform, all the sports competitions that you take part outside your school will all fall under extramural. So basically, you are getting an exposure and an opportunity to show your standard and the skills at a different level. Moving on to next, it provides appropriate knowledge of sports techniques. So certain techniques that you couldn't learn back in school, certain techniques that you couldn't learn properly or practice in the school, you get to practice that in sports academy or many other professional places where sports is the only focus. So extramural activities helps you to again achieve that particular goal. Next, plan and implementation of a programs of physical education becomes more effective. Now, the importance of physical education when you combine it with the rest of the academics, it may not come up to a point or it may not come up to much focus, but when you enter an institution where sports is the only focus, there again the major focus will be the sports, and every coach who is again specialized in certain sports or certain departments will help you to achieve and makes you perfect in that particular skill, in that particular sports. That way you are getting a perfect technique boost or a technique or a perfect on-field experience and enhancements of your performance. Moving on to next, it improves the opportunity to participate in sports. What does it do? It improves the opportunity to participate in sports. So when you practice in again extramural activities, the opportunities that you get is more, because once you get represented at a certain higher level, then people comes and pick you up at different spots, right? And people recognize you and your name will be called at different places, and you will be again given multiple opportunity to represent a team or represent the nation in that case. Okay, so these all are some of the significance of extramural activities. Now I hope you understood the two different categories of activities that we studied. What all are those? We studied about intramural activities and extramural activities. In intramural activities, what are all the activities? Intramural activities are those activities which we practice inside the boundary wall of the school, and extramural activities are those activities which we practice outside the school. So those activities in this context we are talking about. In this context, what are we talking about? We are talking about sports and different kind of athletic activities and physical education context. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is specific sports program. So what is specific sports program? So let's get into that. Before we get into these different kind of specific sports programs, let's try to understand the concept a bit. Specific sports program is again restricted to a certain theme, right? Each event of sports that you do in that is again dedicated to a certain theme. For example, you have first sports day. So you may have participated in sports day in school. So sports day is what? It's that one particular day in a year dedicated to sports. So in that sports, everybody in the school participates in different events, and it's a common event for every school. So every school student might experience this. Then you have health run. Health run is basically what? Health run is again just to improve or spread the awareness towards the health, right? So you have different kind of health marathons, they say, right? In the cities, in big urban cities, they generally practice this. Different companies organize this. So health run is specifically the theme is basically dedicated to the health. So the development of health, to promote the importance or the awareness or the development of health is again called as health run. So people all together, many thousands of people take part in this, and they all run together in a marathon with just one focus or one goal in the mind, to spread the awareness of health. And by that they do again the health run is actually the marathon, such like that. I am pretty sure that you might have experienced and seen this many times in the newspapers, and many times maybe live also, and many of you might have participated also in this. Okay, now moving on to next. After that we have run for specific cause. So run for specific cause also is again somewhat confusing with health run, because in certain cases you can merge both. For example, awareness of cancer, one campaign goes on, right? With many people run with some t-shirts with certain codes and certain medical information, certain informations related to that, and then they run with that particular theme to spread that awareness. That falls again under health run, but that also falls under the run for specific cause. So there they are not giving just health, they are particularly focused on cancer, right? So to spread the awareness of cancer and how important it is for a person to take care of his health, so that they don't get those kind of problems, and to spread the awareness. So that is again run for specific cause. When again 1,000 number of people or students or organizations, companies, staff all together conduct an event like this, their only aim, their only focus is to again spread the awareness to the rest of the world about that particular cause for which they are running. Moving on to next, we have run for unity. Again, lot of places civil war goes on in many countries related to different kind of partialities and discriminations and different kind of situations. So run for unity is to again spread the awareness of unity, to spread the message that we all are humans, we all are one, so we should all work like one, we should all be treated like one. So to avoid all those kind of small little discriminations, and to again spread this message across the world, run for unity event or marathon is conducted by again many different organizations. So again specific sports program is what? Again the title, like it says, specific means everywhere they are specific, right? Sports day means it's a day where sports is practiced. Health run, it's a run where health is the major concern. Then you have run for specific cause, that means you are running for a specific cause. And finally you have run for unity, where it is exactly saying that you are running to showcase or to promote unity in again humanity. So pretty much it's logical when you talk about each name that is given to you. That way it is even more easy for you to understand and keep it in mind, right? The meaning of each of these things are hidden in its name itself. So I hope you understood what all I taught in this session today. I'll just give a quick recap. What all we studied today? We studied about intramural sports or intramural activities. We studied about extramural activities and its objectives, meanings and significance. Then we studied about different kind of specific sports program, where each sports is dedicated to a particular cause. So, hoping you understood everything. This is me, Rohit, once again signing out. Until next time, stay tuned. Thank you. Goodbye.